afternoon, everybody. I just changed my setup in the office, so can you guys let me know if you can hear me and if you can actually see me, because that would definitely help me out. Um, hey, what's going on? Let's say hi to folks. Hey, Neil, how are you today? The Watchman, what's going on? Joe Morgan. And, oh, I have gun pictures for you, buddy. I forgot to send them. Hey, thought we were going to die Thursday night. No, we weren't Wednesday either. Was it drunk Thursday and die Saturday? That would be way more fun. Hey Holly, what's going on? Regional Sky Girl, welcome. Hey Penny, Angie Pilgrim. Oh, Mountain Mountain. Hey, how are you? Oh, shoot, I just said it. All right, no sound, no sound. Okay, let's see.
Do I have sound now? Can y'all hear me now? Switch yourself out. Man, Joe, I'm never sorted out. Can't hear you. Low sound now. Okay, 5x5 now. Okay. Yeah, boom fixed. Excellent. Muy bueno. Yeah, I switched headsets and I switched a few other things around for work. And I'm like, I'm going to do a live stream and I have no idea if it's going to work. Tracy, it's completely frozen. Sound is bueno. Hey, she said, completely frozen. Is anyone, hey, JD. So can you guys, I guess everyone can hear me and most of you can see me. So, okay, cool. Guys, thank you for joining me. Normally I do a technical video. I was actually going to do one about concealed carry. I'm going to kick that to next week so we can just do a little chat. My schedule got completely screwed up this week. Um, the fluffy dog who took the beating is now in protective custody in my office behind a child gate where he cannot go, and it's all smoothed out. People just okay. Yeah, you may have to refresh if you're having trouble seeing me. Hey, well, Tracy's completely frozen. And that would be Bentley barking because he wants to be in here. Stuff him in the brig. Well, he is. He's in protective custody because he won't shut up. And he got some stitches and he shaved on one side. So he looks like a demented loofah on legs. And he still wants to talk smack. And Bentley will happily go round three with him. I don't think this guy will do well with round three. So, can you believe I got a strike today for my hunt for? You're freaking joking. They think I was trying to sell them. Oh wow. Poor Tracy. Tracy's having. Hey, it's almost Friday, Tracy. It's okay. My whole week's been like that. Show us a pic. Um, hunt for ammo. Oh, for crying out loud. So if you have an affiliate link to a firearms or ammo, they ding you, or is it just like if your video shows things for sale? I I I don't even know what to make of that. That's just terrible. Hey, our mountain home. Mr. Mountain Home. Somewhere in here. There. Ta-da. Howdy, howdy. So hold on a second. Let me switch the screen around here real quick because I clearly have screwed something up apparently. Um, folks, I don't know what the thoughts are, but I've had a feeling, and I think all of us have, the economy is not awesome right now. They keep telling us, oh no, it's great because the jobs report. I think the job report is caca. I think it's it's an absolute lie, and I'm going to tell you why. And actually, someone just popped this out. Let me see if I can expand this so you guys can see it. Do. Hold on just a second. And what did I just do here? Hey now. So I'm going to share this article with you guys right now. So opinion is don't fall for the hype. And let me share the screen with you right now. Here we go. And if you guys can see that, don't fall for the hype. The January jobs report isn't as good. Let me shrink that down so and I can move it out so you guys can see it a little better. Hang on just a second here. Nope, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Anyway, don't fall for the hypes. The January jobs report isn't as good as it seems. Um, Folks, I'll tell you, hey, Rip Curl, what's going on? And Prepper Book Club, it's all propped up, buddy. Oh, yeah, no, it's absolutely propped up. So, Celtic Grandma, hello. Hey, Blackbird, hello. Holly, if I miss, hey, Nate, I missed a few of you guys and girls as you jumped in here. Um, so, don't fall for the hypes. January jobs report isn't as good as it seems, and it's an opinion piece. You could pick this up. It's Liz Peek on the Hill. And she says the mainstream media appears to be all in on Joe Biden's reelection. Expect that enthusiasm to color nearly all the reporting, which we know. Um, Take the most recent job report, which we were told was a stunner, but was it really? Or did the media willfully overlook a number of thorny issues? After all, the idea that the US created 353,000 jobs in January flies in the face of other things. So they're reporting many companies reported fourth quarter profits that beat Wall Street because of cost cutting. The cost cutting was layoffs. Apple, Tesla, Google, and not just the tech sector, a lot of other companies, um, manufacturers, stuff like that, are actually cutting. More broadly, Challenger Gray and Christmas, a consultancy, reports that last month U.S. firms cut 82,307 jobs, 136% increase from those cut in December. So in December, they cut 34,000. In January, they cut 82,000. Now you figure you have a lot of people who get part time work um, and during the holidays, and then they get let go in January, right? So that number's a bit skewed as well. But the job creation, they're not counting a full time job. You know what I mean? They anything can be constituted as a job. So if you're working part-time, if you work just under 40 hours a week, which a lot of small companies are doing now because they can't afford to pay medical and dental, et cetera, for you, what you wind up with is, so I get laid off from my job, right? And I wind up, to make up for it, I work at, say, Academy, Walmart, and I bartend at night or something like that. I'm just coming up with stuff. So technically, they can say, "Oh, well, we created three jobs." No, what you did was create three part-time jobs because I'm trying to figure out what to do now that I lost my one full-time job. And I think those numbers are skewed. AI is taking a lot of jobs. That's a valid point. Um, we're seeing it in McDonald's. We're seeing the self checkouts now, where people are just checking out on their own. As a matter of fact, okay, so that floor Zamboni you see at Sam's, you know which one I'm talking about? Is the little, hey Seawolf, the little, hey Teresa, and anyone I missed. Um, it's meant to like clean the floor. It's like a buffing machine, and the dude sits on it and drives around. Well, the first thing I noticed was that now it's automated. It has cameras and it cleans the floor by itself. Well, what's happening now is I saw that same machine go zipping by, and it had a scanner on it, and it was scanning inventory on the shelves. And the camera was moving to different shelves, and it was just going back and forth, scanning what was on the shelf. So it's taking, not only did it take the job of the guy who Zamboni the floor, it's taking the job of the stock boy, stock girl. These are like the entry level jobs for the high school kids or the part time jobs retirees do because it doesn't kill you, right? It's not high paying, but it's like a bread and butter type job. That's getting replaced. So uh, I don't think there. You notice they never said anything about the shopping season. Uh, uh, they never said anything about how the Christmas shopping season went, but there've been a bunch of layoffs. Something's not right. Our economy is not right, and right now China is starting to struggle, and they're starting to see deflation, which is going to affect us in a positive way for a little while, and then it's going to suck really bad. So let me see if I can bring that up, because I think these are the kind of things that a lot of folks we kind of don't pay attention to, because it's like it's not right in our face kind of problem. But then as things progress, we winds up getting worse. Let me see if I can get this. Okay. All right, let me bring this up for you guys. Hey, PBC again. Let me share this screen for you. China's deflation. Okay, deflation in China continues to become more entrenched. New data shows consumer prices in China dropped at their sharpest rate in 14 years. Turmoil in China's property market has crushed consumer spending and confidence. So, you know how we have our housing market is superheated right now, right? All the houses are really expensive. China is having the opposite happen. They're going the other direction. They have what they call, oh, what do they call them? The paper mache apartments or something. People literally falling through the floor um, of one apartment into the other because they're built so crappy. What they did, they went on a building spree, where they didn't put people in these buildings. They just built them and claimed, "Oh, our real estate market is great to prop up the economy." But now it's false. Now they're tearing these buildings down. So now they're seeing deflation. So what they did, they built buildings. I mean, entire cities, y'all. Xi'an, China, has 50 skyscrapers that have an occupancy of less than 15%. I'm talking New York sized skyscrapers. So, hey, Lucky, welcome. Hey, Pennsylvania, what's going on? This was a last minute, Pennsylvania, this was kind of a last minute thing. So don't, it probably, you didn't, the algorithm didn't have time to react. But they inflated their housing market, right? So these young couples and families were buying homes. Now, remember, they had the riots in the banks in China last year? It's because what they did when you bought the home, they categorized it instead of like we do in the US, where they say, oh, you have equity in your home. They took some of these bank accounts these people had where they were building their equity and made them investment tools. And once they went into that category, they were no longer insured or guaranteed. That's why people were rioting in China, because they were told that their checking and savings were protected like ours are supposed to be with FDIC, and they actually weren't. So their economy is deflating. People are suddenly freaking broke. So they stop buying domestically. Right? China's a huge market. So now all the companies are deflating. In other words, they're lowering prices, trying to sell more product. Hey, the prepping artist, what's going on? Uh, yes, and be sure to check out that channel as well. They're great. But what we're seeing here with China, and this is part of the reason I kind of did this ad hoc live, is their companies are now in trouble, right? So the housing market's in trouble now. And it's deflating, like they're crashing, but the consumers can't buy anything because they can't afford anything because they lost all their bank accounts and their equity. So now the companies have no product that's moving off the shelves. Nothing is being bought. So what they're going to do now is they're going to switch gears, and they're going to get really aggressive and flood the market, the global market, the rest of us, with really cheap Chinese product. And that's something they're kind of concerns about. It said deflation in China continues to become more entrenched. New data shows consumer prices, sorry, in China dropped at their sharpest rate in 14 years because nobody can afford anything. We have the opposite problem. We printed too much damn money, so it takes more money to buy the same thing it did, 3 years ago. The latest sign of the country's worsening deflation problem, fresh data showed consumer prices tumbled. The National Bureau of Statistics attributed the deflation numbers to floating holiday effects, given that the Lunar New Year occurred in January versus February. Um, China's January consumer price index fell zero point 0.8 compared to a year ago. On an annualized month over month basis, consumer prices fell 4.3. Let me expand that a little bit so y'all can see it, with particular weakness in food prices. So pork fell 17%, vegetable. Now you wish this happened here, but what would happen if that were to occur that fast in the US, it would be because essentially nobody's buying anything and now the companies desperately have to kick stuff off the shelves. So we might see this ripple effect in the other direction going forward. Unfortunately, when this happens, food doesn't get sold, so it goes to waste, which means people get hungry. Um, then you start seeing countries try to distract their population from what's happening in their economy. Not to mention the people crisis. Yes, yeah, that's 100. Oh, I'll touch on that here in a second. And yeah, they're having problems with food in China as well. Hey, Astatine, what's going on? And hello, Nate. Wait, Nate's in there somewhere. Yeah, I said hi to Nate. Uh, oh, sorry, I lost the chat here. Hey, Magic, I didn't see you in there. Um, there's a people crisis too, and that's a whole nother problem. Um, what this does, if we were to see this here, would mean the companies are not selling anything, and it's because all of us got broke. Now, this morning they reported that the US credit card debt cleared $1 trillion. Oh, let that sink in for a minute. We at one point had almost paid off all our credit card debt during COVID, and now the debt is at almost $1 trillion. They reported that and let me see if I can find it. Uh, there was yes, here it is. Oh, y'all are gonna love this one because this is just like absolutely offensive. And nauseating. Let me show you this. Uh, we're having the opposite problem for now. Amid backlash over $18 Big Mac meals, McDonald's will focus on affordability in 2024. Okay, something is wrong in the world economy when China can't get anyone to buy their stuff and we have $18 Big Mac meals. Uh, hold on. I lost Tucker. Yeah, Tucker's interview will be available tonight. So Paul says he has an emergency announcement. Oh, okay. At 7 p.m. So folks, make sure you check that out. We are running out of options, as the Watchman mentioned. I lost it in the chat. China also has a people problem because Chairman Mao was expecting World War III to happen in the 60s or 70s. So he did the one kid policy, preference to males. They now have an aging population that is almost 4-to-1 male to female. So what that has created is two things. One, you don't have enough people, your population's going to start crashing. Two, it created a huge female trafficking problem. And my son and his teammates, when they were deployed overseas, were busting this left and right. It's awful. And everyone's involved, companies, military, including our military, sadly. Some of our people went corrupt. Um, and just the mafia and the cartels, everyone's involved. It's lucrative. But all these problems, they kind of start to snowball. And the reason I bring up this McDonald's thing is China can't afford anything right now. They need to be able to move their product to keep their economy humming. They have an aging population, they're not having enough children, people have lost their bank accounts, their equity, and now the companies are getting aggressive on the open market, and it's going to cause a flood of garbage in the market, which is going to then hurt the American companies. So if you own a business, you got to be aware of this kind of situation where you might start seeing that substandard product from overseas coming into the market again, because they just got to move something, they got to sell it. So yeah, it's gonna be, oh, here you go. Back during China's boom, they built tons of huge cities and sat empty. Yeah, there are actually videos out there, Rip. I was actually just talking about that. There are videos out there where there's like a guy doing a YouTube video or something, like he's doing a TikTok and he's standing there and he's playing a guitar, I don't, and he just falls through his damn floor. And then the guy videoing, looks down and the guy's like basically wiped out in the other guy's couch. Could you imagine you're sitting there watching TV and your neighbor just falls on you through the ceiling? Like, how awful would that be? So th- we haven't seen the end of the economic stuff yet, but this is good information because it tells us two things. One, eventually our inflation should pivot and flatten out, right? Hey, Orion, what's going on? On the other hand, on the other hand, you stand a distinct possibility that you might see products that you've been looking for, but you couldn't afford because we're all inflated here, might start to come down because those Chinese companies or will start getting competitive. So the American, the Filipino, the British, all the other companies are going to start getting competitive, right? And so this might actually be an opportunity for the preparedness community to look for things. Yeah, it's supposed to post on his website at 9 Central or 9 Eastern, something like that. It may be up there. So yeah, I think it's tuckercarlson.com or something like that. So we all might see an opportunity here where we might be able to grab some of those things we've kind of been putting off because the market's going to start getting aggressive and everyone will get into a competitive mode. So, unfortunately, that may result in layoffs if the companies can't stay competitive, which becomes a whole nother problem. But it could be an opportunity for all of us to kind of stay ahead of stuff. Regional Sky Girl, yes, Tucker flew. So he was going to go 4 months ago, and the State Department held him up, and he claims that they were hacking their cell phones and reading the texts. So he figured out a way to go there, and he interviewed Vladimir Putin in person to hear his story. And I've caught one little excerpt uh, earlier today where basically part of his comment is, do you really think President Biden's running the country? Because we don't think so, and we have reason to believe otherwise, and here's our evidence. And then they cut it off. So I'm super curious to hear the other side. Now again, Vladimir Putin is not the best buddy of America, but I've not seen such a one-sided conversation in a very long time, so it's kind of concerning. But yeah, folks, super interesting. So watch the market the next 3 to 4 months. And again, I'm not a financial analyst, I'm an engineer, right? I'm looking at number patterns, but I do play with this stuff because when we order steel, we order explosives, we order whatever equipment, we need to we're constantly looking at the market, and then when we have to charge fees, we have to adjust according. Well, steel went up by X percent, so I have to adjust my cost to the people I work with by X percent to cover my cost, right? So I play with it enough to be dangerous, but watch the markets. We might luck out as a community and start seeing things come in a little bit cheaper. And hey, Lisa, and that might really work in our favor. I mean, it really might. Oh, hold on. Yes. Texas Red Leg. We actually went and bought some hoodies for Sassy, and they were 40 to 60% off in my part of Texas. But winter jackets, hoodies, boots, socks. So if you're near an academy, go check it out. They're trying to unload the winter stuff. And it's kind of early. Usually they wait till March or April. They're trying to dump it now. So if you need, hey Moonsprout, you need that jacket or you want to get an extra one or rain gear. Also the hunting stuff, Redleg, let me know if you guys or any of you in Texas have seen this. Um, the hunting stuff's going on sale. So camo pants, camo jackets, camo netting, ammunition not on sale, sadly, not in Texas anyway. Um, Firearms have come down too. Now I have to be careful how I phrase this because then I'll get put in the penalty box like poor Rip Curl did. Um, but the market prices for certain devices have come down. Defensive products has come down. So take a look. Go meander a little bit. Hey B and J's, what's going on? What? Sounds like we need to go check out Academy. I would, Lucky. They actually had propane, the green propane cans available, which shocked the heck out of me. They had nines, 22s, 5.56, 12s, but they had the camo and the winter gear and the winter workout gear, like sweatpants, hoodies, stuff, were all on sale. But you got to shop, you got to search around. Like if you're in the front, you may not see it. So definitely, yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of stuff on sale right now. So, folks, we may see a break in the market that uh, works for us. I might actually be in a. There's one of those in the Dallas area, the Shields or Shells. I forgot how it's pronounced. Hey, Devil Dog. So, but watch for that because you guys can. We can come out ahead, which would really be cool. Um, okay, I caught. So this changing subject. So the economy is going to be weird this year. I think we all figured that out, but we might actually come out ahead if we if you watch the market and get those sales when you can. And as the companies get competitive, they're going to drop prices. Try to grab those opportunities when you can. Yeah, I thought they would do it in March, but you're right. Maybe it is. It's in the colony. Okay, I figured. And Ross does clearance too. So folks, look around. See what you can see. This video came to me and I thought it was really bizarre because I've never seen this before. Let's see. This is from Canal 13, which is an overseas channel. So the I'm gonna put captioning. I can't guarantee. Let me shrink myself down so you guys can see this. And let me know if you can hear the audio. I'm gonna turn it up a bit.
Russian security chief. Radioactive cloud moving toward Europe. The destruction of depleted uranium shells in Ukraine has produced a radioactive cloud which has been blown toward Western Europe, the Secretary of the Russian Security Council, Nikolai Patrushev, has claimed. The UK supplied the munitions to Ukraine to be fired from British-made Challenger tanks. The senior official revealed the purported threat during a government meeting in which he accused the US of providing help to other nations that results in harm being done to the recipients. They helped Ukraine this way too, applied pressure to its satellites to supply depleted uranium munitions. Their destruction resulted in a radioactive cloud moving towards Western Europe. They have detected an increase
Not
in
bueno.
radiation in Poland, Patrushev stated. Unconfirmed reports have circulated in Ukraine regarding the target of a Russian strike recently, which Moscow said destroyed
Yeah.
an ammunition depot in the city of Khmelnytsky. According to the claims, the military facility was used to store British provided depleted uranium shells. It has been suggested that the material may have been turned into dust by powerful explosions at the depot. Russia previously warned that the use of depleted uranium munitions poses a long term environmental and public health threat based on studies in nations such as Serbia and Iraq, where the weapons were previously used. London has denied such a risk. While it is mildly radioactive, depleted uranium is mainly considered a health risk because the material is a toxic heavy metal. Particles of uranium or uranium oxide produced in an explosion could be inhaled by anyone exposed to them or contaminate the environment.
So yeah, that I thought I'd share with you guys because that's one of those situations. And granted, it wasn't an atomic weapon of any kind, but that's one of those situations. How do you prep for that? Right. So you can have the masks, the respirators. Um, this is more not a microscopic thing, but particle dust. So you'd have to handle this like fallout, which is if you get caught out in the open, you're going to have to protect your lungs, even if it's just with an N95 mask. And these are big particles. This is not like the Rona, which was like microns wide. But when you get somewhere, you're going to have to take a shower. You're going to have to get rid of all your clothes, like basically bag them and put them away from you. Because the dust will settle into the pores of your skin, into your nails, up into your beards or your hair, up in your nose, and that's how you'll wind up getting sick over time. So that's something, yeah, and that's something. Oh, excellent, thank you. 3 p.m. Pacific time, so it should be on or already went. Oh wow, Meyer has a clearance. Year X-ray rating. Think about how many X-rays do you get a year? Yeah, and you probably don't need the X-rays, but the doctors get a lot of money for doing them, which is why, like, your dentist makes you get an X-ray once a year or twice a year, and you're like, "What the hell? My teeth didn't move that much." That's why. Yeah, no, don't, because it'll actually make things cake on. And actually, it does something else, Lisa. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, something to think about, especially. So the old Cold War recommendation and was what's time distance shielding, and distance is your biggest friend because that number is squared. So if you double your distance, you cut into 1/4 the exposure. So if you have a radioactive substance and you get half as, you divide your distance by half, you get closer, um, your exposure goes up by an amount of 4. So if you're getting an exposure of 1 at say 10 feet, if you double it to 20 feet, uh, you're getting 1/4 of that exposure. So distance is your best friend, but if you're out in the open or in a car, you're kind of screwed. You close your vents. To keep at least the dust off of you and something like that, you could use rain gear. Obviously, hazmat gear is what you need, but rain gear, seal the gloves, respirator, face mask, eye protection. What you want to do is prevent the particles from getting onto your skin or into your eyes and the pores. And then as soon as you go home, hose down. And then any regular clothes like cloth that gets contaminated has to be disposed of. Devil Dog had an interesting point. When I was in Iraq, we had the worst sandstorm in 100 years, plus the burn pits. Yeah, didn't that actually Bo Biden, the Biden brother that was not a crackhead. He was a military guy. Didn't that screw him up with all the? He had some kind of weird cancer, like it was very unheard of. Hold on, wait. Has issues from chemical exposure. Now. Oh yeah, hold on, Lucky. Is it saying for subscribers only? For paying subscribers? Uh, he went on the news and said he was going to put it on for free. So I guess if I find I can get my hands on it, I might do a short live stream. I can't put the whole thing out there because I'll get in trouble, but I can put little bits and pieces and maybe we can do a commentary while we're talking about it. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, a lot of guys got messed up with that. Speaking of the China economy thing, silver and platinum, gold, precious metals, diversify a little bit if you can afford it, if you can fit it in the budget, diversify a little bit and that's going to help you. But I thought that was interesting what happened with these folks because everyone's saying, well, they didn't pop a nuke, but oh, thank you, Lucky. That's hold on, let me bring that up to the screen here. Um, yeah, those of you who are veterans or dealing with a veteran who's been exposed, um, yeah, if you're on X, you should or you may be able to see it. Um, oh, I did have good news though, and we don't get good news too often, but this one is good news, so I wanted to share this one as well. See, I had some good news today. We actually had China's economy is tanking, which may mean we might get a price break on stuff. Okay, no worries, Magic. I'm same boat here. But they caught morons. Let me make sure the audio is up, and let me know if you cannot hear this. We'll just play a bit of.
Chief of Detectives Joseph Kinney, phenomenal partner,
Can you
so
hear this?
instrumental to all that we do at the New York County District Attorney's Office. A grand jury has returned an indictment on 7 individuals for their roles in assault on 2 police officers in Times Square on January 27th. This assault, as it did to many of you, sickened me and outraged me. We all rely on members of the NYPD every day, as I said, to keep us safe and keep this the safest big city in America. As a lifelong New Yorker,
They should
I
not
do
have let him go
tolerate
without bail,
attacks on our
though.
police officers, and certainly I do not as Manhattan District Attorney. So let me be clear, plain and simple, the behavior depicted, many of you seen, is despicable. As I said, collaboration really is the key word here. Today's indictment follows a painstaking joint investigation between the NYPD
This
and
was
the Manhattan
unheard
District
of 10
Attorney's
years
Office,
ago.
involving a number of investigative steps. Video, some of which you've seen in the public forum, additional video, body-worn cameras, interviews, and a number of covert investigative law enforcement steps that we're not at liberty to discuss. The level of review was meticulous because it must be. It must be because that is the work we do day in and day out to present cases in a court of law. We had to ensure that we identified and charged those individuals who actually committed criminal acts in this matter. The only thing worse than failing to bring perpetrators to justice would be to ensnare innocent people in the criminal justice system.
I agree 100%.
Based on our thorough.
So anyway, this goes on. I'll put the link if I can get this. Now he started talking again on my channel. I'll get the link. In theory, it will fit here. Maybe not. But he should not have released them on bail. Now, his concern, he said, was we didn't know if we had the right people. If the cops identified them, hold them for 48 hours. And if they've done nothing wrong, let them go. But don't let them go that next morning. And then they run around and, hey, good morning, Psalms. And they're, now they're running amok and they're going to have to probably find some of them. So they have the indictment, but now they got to go bring them to court. And a few of them have bailed out. So we'll see how that goes. But at least, no, they should not have been released. And $0 bail. It's not like, oh, they dropped 5-10 grand a piece and now they're out the money and that hurts too. No, they $0. So anyway, but you know what? All of us, and when I say all of us, the people, not just the preparedness community, raised holy hell about what we saw, and they take actions. These fools know who we are, and they listen when they see us so-called life. It's this yeah, these are all, excuse my French, my brothers, it's on families. No, well, part of my family is too, and that's what blows my mind is and obviously if it's negligence or abuse of power or some other thing, cops commit crimes, we get that. But they were trying to remove them for smoking on the subway, which is just not allowed. And the guy shoved the cop. You put hands on someone, you got to fight. And Oh yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it is. And so yeah, Miko, I absolutely agree. They should not have been released. They should been held. Hey, Auntie, they should have been held, and they weren't. So in any case, justice in some level has been done. So well, they could be doing what we're doing and running on weird credit, but yeah, this is that's it's hard to say what exactly is going on. The problem is we don't have many journalists anymore. You have some like Tucker, and there are a few others, both left and right, who are speaking independently, but for the most part, they're just regurgitating taglines, and it's no longer about journalism or finding secrets or the truth. Um, it's about staying employed. Basically, they really don't. They're not doing what they're supposed to anymore, and it's sad. Um, but anyway, now this one is one story I do want to share with you guys because this one does bother me a bit. Um, because our country is stupid sometimes. Let me so Mexico is suing U.S. gun makers in a bid to stop weapons trafficking. An international battle over firearms is being renewed as a U.S. federal appeals court ruled on January 22nd that Mexico can sue a group of American gun manufacturers. The 10 billion lawsuit claims these manufacturers are contributing to the epidemic of cartel violence in Mexico by arming drug kingpins. I would say Mexico should just sue the White House. Don't sue the gun manufacturers because the Fast and Furious, we lost a boatload of military grade weapons, stuff that none of us can buy publicly. But anyway, the lawsuit was initially brought against the United States in August 21. At the time, many described it as a long shot. It was dismissed by a district court on a technicality. The Mexican government appealed, and Boston's First Circuit Court of Appeal revived the lawsuit. Why are they suing us in Boston? Because of the judges. So just something to think about what's going on. The lawsuit pits the Mexican government against six manufacturers in the U.S., including Glock, Ruger, Smith and Wesson. Attorneys from Mexico argued these companies aided and abetted and knowingly unlawful downstream trafficking of weapons into their country. Whether that sticks or not, I don't know. But I find it interesting that we have um, foreign countries just suing entities in our country. They say 70 to 90% of the guns recovered by the Mexican government originate in the U.S. Now, here's something interesting. They recently have pointed out that a lot of the weapons that are showing up in the cartels have US military serial numbers. They're not like, oh, Pete bought an AR or an AK and then I smuggled it down. No, it's these are government issue weapons showing up down there. So you want to put on your tinfoil hat for a second. If I want to shut down one side of political debates right to bear arms, I will knowingly flood another country with firearms so that they can sue the gun manufacturers and put them out of business so that now people can't get their firearms in this country. Is it a stretch? I don't know, just a hypothesis, but it would be very interesting if they did that. Sorry, not paying a government that's funding an invasion. That would be awesome, T-Man. That actually, I like that. None of our people would do that because they don't have any courage amongst them. Uh, oh, I lost. Hey, Independent, how are you? You snuck in on me there. Uh, yes, freedom of the press, and it's funny because people I know who fled Argentina, fled Argentina, Venezuela, or Cuba. They always say they went after the military and politicians who stood up. Then they took the guns. Once they had the guns, they arrested all the journalists, the lawyers, anyone who could challenge them in a courtroom, and then they went after the people. There were layers to how it was done. So Hold on. Oh yeah, or gave them a bunch. It's anyway. Yeah, several have been picked up in the military for selling weapons to Mexico. No, it doesn't get reported, and I wonder how much it is, how bad it is down there. I have people who travel back and forth that I know that say, yeah, you can get RPGs down there, you can get grenades down there. Not the civilian version, flashbang stuff we get here in the States. I'm talking legit frag, versus Willie Pete's, that kind of stuff. It just blows my mind. So um, they So anyway, they're trying to file again, whether it sticks or not. It's going to get appealed, so I'm not putting too much weight behind it. But it's interesting. So folks, look, in the coming months, it looks if the Chinese, the foreign economies start to struggle, their products will get cheaper. Hopefully, it'll make other companies get cheaper to be competitive, which may work out in our favor. For those of you who live in Texas, Louisiana, Florida, I think anywhere on the Gulf Coast, in March or April, they have a tax free weekend for hurricane preparedness. Anything prepping related is tax free. And lucky any of you guys and girls in Texas can correct me if I'm off on the date. There's a list you can find online with the Texas government, and they will list like the following things are tax free for this weekend. And the weekend includes Fridays, so it's like from Friday 6 a.m. until like Sunday midnight, something like that. That includes generators, it includes backpacks, first aid kits, flashlights, batteries, certain types of food, but you can't just go and get like canned beans. That they don't. That's like no, that's groceries. Very specific things: hatchets, axes, machetes, folding saws, entrenching tools, anything you would conceivably use in an emergency will go tax free in a lot of these states. So check your own state because more states are starting to do it because they're starting to understand that things can go sideways. So thank you, Lucky. Lucky Dame is a rock star. She is on her game tonight. Um, Holiday, April 27th to 29th in Texas. So, yeah. Now, what I would do is check the prices now of something you want and then go and compare because some of the stores will increase their cost because they know it's tax free. It's like Christmas, right? You want to buy the Apple Watch in June and it's, $100, but you go get it in Christmas, it's 179 discounted to 125, but you're still paying more. So, Jersey doesn't have an tax on food. No, we don't have a tax on food down here either. Sales tax holiday. Oh, what state, Auntie? I don't know what state anti Atjac is at. But anyway, folks, look, a lot of moving parts, not doomsday stuff. It's stuff we can watch for. This kind of stuff could be an opportunity for us to get something we've been putting off to fill a gap in our preps and to just keep an eye on it, keep a little cash on hand, because you save a little bit of interest rate on that too if you can put it in cash and just pay it off and be done. So, folks, watch for these deals. The economy is still not awesome. I think they're not telling us the whole truth. Actually, I know they're not telling us the whole truth. I just can't prove it. But we all can take advantage of this if we pay attention to things moving around. So, yeah, we have a sales tax holiday during the school, just before school starts, also. A pet tax. Oh, it's in Texas too. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the one later in the year. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, folks, look for those things. Save the money where you can. 8%, 10% is still money off of what you're buying. So, in any case, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it here. I think the prepping artists are going live now. So, if you're not busy, go over there if they are live and go on the chat and tell them roaming prepper sent you, and say hi and give likes and do nice things for other people. And I'm gonna go see if we can find Tucker's interview where all of us don't have to pay for it. You guys be safe out there, be careful, watch for those deals. March, Aprilish, you might start seeing those things happen. So go get that thing you think you might need. Save a little money now so you can pay it off then. So y'all be good, be safe out there. God bless, and we'll see you later on.